Hello, I'm Noel McNaughton. You know, there's a stereotypical image of the midlife man leaving his wife, buying a Harley or maybe a red sports car and taking up with a younger woman. In fact, many of the questions I get on this website are from women saying their men have left and wondering whether they're going to come back. But a few years ago, the American Association of Retired Persons, or ARP for short, surveyed 1,147 men and women who had been divorced during their 40s, 50s, or 60s. And they found that the rate of divorce is on the rise in that age group. But more often than not, it's women more than men who do the leaving. Here are some of the results. 41% of men reported they had asked for the divorce, compared with 66% of women. More men, at 26%, than women, at 14%, were caught off guard and didn't know their divorce was coming. 58% of men, compared with 37% of women, stayed in an unsatisfying marriage because of the kids. The men were more worried, justifiably, than the women about losing the kids. 81% of the men and about 75% of the women reported being in a serious, exclusive relationship again after their divorce, often within a couple of years. And the number one reason both gave for getting back into action was to prove to themselves that they were getting on with their lives. For men, sex ranked a close second. Almost half of the people surveyed had been divorced before, when they were younger. It takes longer for people in their 40s or older to decide on divorce. 21% of the men and about a third of the women started thinking about splitting 2 years before the actual event. 25% of the men in their 50s and about a third of the men in their 60s reported having sex with a new partner as a way of helping deal with the stress of the divorce. Alcohol ranked a close second. For women, they dealt with the stress by exercising and staying longer at work. Against society's expectations, and in spite of the pain, both men and women who divorced at midlife had the same measure of happiness as their single counterparts, and those who got married again reported also a high measure of happiness. And this was regardless of who initiated the divorce or how long the marriage had lasted. My only advice is that if you do happen to be divorced or widowed, wait for at least 3 years before getting married again. Dating is good, but it takes about 3 years to recover from the emotional trauma of a divorce or being widowed. And up until that time, you're not ready for a long-term commitment.